Good day, everyone. I am Charlene Guavez, and today I will be presenting my research paper review entitled Data Mining Methods, a Review. So, this paper was written by Dimitrios Papakyriakou and Ioannis S. Barbounakis. It was published in the International Journal of Computer Applications in 2022. So, throughout this presentation, I will be discussing who conducted the study, the objectives of the research, the um, methods they used, their major findings, and the research gaps they identified. Okay, so without further ado, let's begin. So before discussing the study itself, um, let me first introduce the researchers. Okay, the paper was written by Dimitrios Papakyriakou, who is a PhD candidate, and Ioannis S. Barbounakis, who is an assistant professor. So both researchers are affiliated with the Department of Electronic Engineering at Hellenic Mediterranean University in Crete, Greece. So this paper was published in January 2022 in the International Journal of Computer Applications. So because of their background in computer engineering, um, and in data analytics, they have the expertise to review different data mining methods and explain how these algorithms can be applied in big data. Okay, moving on to the objectives of the study. The researchers explained that we are now living in a world where technology generates an enormous amount of data every single day. So, this is because um, technologies such as the social media, cloud computing, online transactions, and the Internet of Things or the IoT. So, the problem is that traditional methods are no longer enough to process these huge data sets efficiently. So because of this, the researchers conducted this review to examine different data mining algorithms, compare their strengths and weaknesses, and identify the situations where each algorithm performs best. So in simple terms, ang goal po nila ay gumawa ng guide para mas madaling makapili ng ah, tama o swak na algorithm depende sa data at problema na gusto nilang i-solve. Um, Although this paper did not provide formal research questions, its objectives clearly show that um, um, the direction of the study. So the researchers wanted to understand which data mining algorithms are commonly used in big data, how these algorithms also differ from one another, and where each algorithm is most effective. So they also focused on the explaining the advantages, disadvantages, and practical applications of every algorithm discussed in the paper. So kaya kahit walang nakalagay na mga research questions, it's clear, no? Malinaw pa rin ang purpose ng kanilang study. So for the research methodology, the authors used a literature review. So instead of conducting surveys or experiments, they gathered information from the previously published journal articles, mga libro, and other reliable academic sources related to data mining and big data. Since this is a review paper, there is no participants o walang involved na um, actual na tao. Walang actual data collection sa mga tao. So, the researchers simply analyzed and compared the information available in existing studies to identify the characteristics, advantages, the limitations, and applications of different data mining techniques. So, basically, they summarized and compared the existing knowledge instead of creating a new research data. Okay, since the study is a review paper, so the researchers did not build their own data set. So instead, they gathered information from the different published studies that discuss big data, machine learning, and data mining. So after collecting this information, they organized the algorithms into different categories based on their functions and applications. So these categories, no, includes supervised learning, unsupervised learning, regression analysis, um, um, predictive modeling, clustering, and outlier detection. So this approach made it easier to the readers to understand and compare this algorithm. Okay, this is one of the most important parts of the paper because it explains the different data mining methods. So, the researchers reviewed several algorithms, including classifications, decision trees, random forest, KNN or the K nearest neighbor, and regression analysis and clustering. So instead of developing a new model, they explained how each algorithm works, where it is commonly used, and what its strengths and weaknesses are. So, for example, decision trees are easy to understand. Random forest provides higher accuracy, while the neutral networks are very powerful, but it requires more computational resources. Okay? So, sa madaling salita, hindi po sila gumawa ng bagong algorithm. So, yung ginawa po nila ay kinumpara lang, ikinumpara yung mga existing na algorithms para malaman kung kailan sila mas pinaka-effective na gamitin. Okay? So, based on their reviews, the researchers found that there is no single algorithm that is considered the best for every situations. So every algorithm, no, has its own strengths and limitations. So some algorithms works better for classifications, while others are more suitable for predictions and clustering or detecting unusual patterns in data. So this study also showed that these algorithms are widely used in healthcare, banking, cybersecurity, fraud detection, um, marketing, education, and um, many more industries. So the most important finding is that um, choosing the right algorithm always depends on the type of data and the objectives of the analysis. Okay, so um, even though the paper provides a detailed review of different data mining methods, there are still some limitations. Okay, so first, the researchers did not perform actual experiments to compare the algorithms. Second, they did not develop or hindi po sila nag-propose ng bagong algorithm. And lastly, most of their comparisons were based on existing literature rather than a real world testing using larger data sets. Okay, so because of these limitations, the researchers suggested that future studies should focus on practical implementation and experimental evaluation using modern big data platforms. So this will help determine which algorithm performs best under real world conditions. Okay, sorry. To conclude, this paper provides a comprehensive review of the most commonly used data mining methods of big data. So it clearly explains how different algorithm works, their advantages and disadvantages, and the situations where they are most effective. So one of the biggest lesson of this paper is that there is no perfect algorithm. Okay? The best choice always depends on the type of data being analyzed and the problem that needs to be solved, and also the available computing resources. So overall, um, this paper serves as a valuable reference para sa mga researchers, also sa mga students and professionals who wants to understand data mining and its real world application. Okay, so the information presented in this review was primarily based on the research paper, Data Mining Methods, a review by Dimitrios Papakyriakou and Ioannis S. Barbounakis, published in the International Journal of Computer Applications in 2022. So, um, thank you very much for your time and attention. And this concludes my presentation. Have a great day.